The sound of fabric tearing silenced the entire cabin. Passengers froze as the woman shouted, "Maybe this will teach you to respect real customers," and ripped the young flight attendant's uniform in front of everyone. Phones came out. No one moved. The humiliated attendant didn't scream. She simply stepped back, tears held by pride. What the woman didn't know was that the man sitting quietly in first class had watched everything. And within minutes, she'd learned that the flight attendant she just assaulted was the daughter of the airline's billionaire CEO, and her own flight was about to end in disgrace. The flight to New York had barely reached cruising altitude when the shouting began. "Are you deaf or just slow?" The voice came from Clara Whitmore, a socialite known for her attitude and family name. Every head in the first-class cabin turned as the young flight attendant, Leona Blake, stood frozen beside her seat, holding an untouched glass of sparkling water. "I asked for champagne, not this," Clara snapped, grabbing the glass and slamming it back onto the tray table. The liquid splashed over Leona's wrist, but she didn't flinch. "I apologize, ma'am." "I'll replace it immediately," Clara scoffed. "You people always have excuses." Passengers exchanged uneasy glances. A man muttered, "That's too far." But Clara ignored him, her voice loud enough for the entire cabin to hear. "I don't know why airlines keep hiring these unqualified people. It's embarrassing." Leona straightened, her voice calm. "Ma'am, I assure you—" "Assure me?" Clara interrupted. "You can't even do your job." The senior attendant approached cautiously. "Is everything all right here?" Clara pointed sharply at Leona. "No, it's not. Your junior staff ruined my experience. I want her written up, immediately." Leona took a quiet step back, forcing a smile. "I'll prepare the form, ma'am," Clara smirked. "Oh, don't bother." She reached out suddenly, gripping the collar of Leona's uniform. The sound that followed, rip, cut through the cabin like thunder. Gasps erupted. One woman shouted, "What is wrong with you?" Another pulled out her phone, recording. Clara tossed the torn fabric aside. "Maybe next time, you'll remember who you're serving." Leona stood motionless, her breath shallow, humiliation searing every eye on her. The senior attendant tried to intervene, but Clara barked, "Back off! Do you even know who my husband is?" A calm voice from the front of the plane answered, "No, but I know who hers is." Every head turned. From seat 1A, Leona Blake, CEO and founder of North Star Airlines, rose slowly. His expression was unreadable, but his presence shifted the entire cabin's energy. The captain's voice came through the intercom moments later, trembling slightly. "Ladies and gentlemen, we've just been informed that Mr. Blake, our company's CEO, is on board. Please remain seated." Clara's face went pale. "CEO?" she stammered. Elliot stepped forward, stopping beside his daughter. His gaze swept the aisle, calm, commanding, the kind of silence that carried more weight than shouting ever could. "Miss Whitmore," he said evenly, "do you realize what you've just done?" Clara tried to recover. "This is ridiculous. She disrespected me by serving water instead of wine?" Elliot asked quietly. "Or by daring to do her job while being black?" The words hung heavy in the air. Clara swallowed hard, glancing around for support. But none came. Leona stood tall now, the torn seam across her shoulder visible, her dignity unbroken. Her father placed a hand on her arm, not as protection, but recognition. "I told you to experience the company from the ground up," he said softly. "I didn't realize the ground was this low." He turned to the senior attendant. "You and your crew are to document everything that's happened. Effective immediately, Miss Whitmore is banned from all North Star flights. Upon landing, you will notify airport security and corporate compliance." The senior attendant nodded rapidly. "Yes, sir." Clara's voice cracked. "You can't do that." "My husband will be hearing from our legal department," Elliot interrupted. "Because you didn't just insult my daughter. You assaulted an employee of my airline." The passengers applauded. Softly at first, then louder until it became a standing ovation. Phones captured every second. Clara's arrogance dissolved into panic. "Please," she whispered. "I didn't know." "That's the point," Elliot said. "You never ask. You just assume." He returned to his seat, motioning for his daughter to continue her duties as if nothing had happened. Leona did. moving through the cabin with poise, serving drinks, smiling through the tension. Her composure silenced even her father's critics. When the plane landed at JFK, airport security was waiting. Clara was escorted out in tears, cameras flashing, reporters shouting her name. By evening, the video had over 50 million views. Torn by Truth trended worldwide. Within days, the fallout was catastrophic. Her husband's luxury brand lost major investors. Sponsors withdrew endorsements. High-profile clients cut ties, citing ethical standards. Overnight, the Whitmore empire crumbled, its legacy undone by one act of prejudice. Meanwhile, Elliot held a press conference. Standing beside Leona, he addressed the nation. "My daughter went undercover to understand how our employees are treated. What she experienced should never happen on any airline or in any workplace. We're not just launching reforms, we're rewriting the culture." He introduced the Blake Integrity Program, a policy enforcing mandatory empathy and equity training across all divisions. Leona, standing beside him, added, "What happened on that flight wasn't just about racism, it was about the silence that lets it grow. I was humiliated, but I'm not broken. Because dignity can be torn, but it can never be destroyed." Her words became a global headline. Universities quoted them. Executives referenced them in boardrooms. Weeks later, Leona returned to the skies, not as an attendant, but as director of in-flight ethics, responsible for leading the program her father founded. The same passengers who once filmed her humiliation now watched her transformation with admiration. On her first day back, a young trainee asked nervously, "How did you stay so calm when she did that to you?" Leona smiled. "Because calm is louder than chaos. And sometimes, the best way to answer hate is to let it hear itself." As her flight took off, she glanced out the window at the horizon, the same sky where her dignity was tested, now carrying her message across the world. And somewhere in that endless blue, justice traveled farther than any first-class ticket ever could. If you believe true strength isn't in shouting, but in standing tall when the world tries to tear you down, prove it. Like this video, share it everywhere, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from and what moment hit you hardest. Subscribe and turn on notifications for more stories of justice.